Welcome back. I've got a set of wireless microphones to look at, sent in via K&F CONCEPT. We'll just have a quick look at the specs on the back of the box, just save me putting them up on the screen, just so you're clear on the specifications of the unit. These come in a padded box. In the foam cutouts we have all the items, and this is the user guide which I will put on screen later on. I'll scan that. So everything you need is included in here to get you going. Going through each of the items, we have a lav mic. This has the foam on top of it. You've also got a fairly decent length cable with that. There's the coiled cable for connecting the main unit to the camera microphone. And this is an attachment so you can put the clip on the back on the hot shoe or on a tripod. There's a thread there and you can screw that down in place to keep that there securely. Also get a very small microphone which plugs directly in to the top of the unit. You could use that for an interview or something. That has the foam pad on it as well, and the units themselves are quite decently made. The plastics are quite good quality, they feel quite dense, and back of each of them you have the clips and very simple controls, just the power, microphone on one and an output on the other one. Flexible antenna means that shouldn't be a problem. Breaking that, obviously a metal one wouldn't be very useful, and the clip design, metal again, is a bit of flexibility and it does make sense rather than plastic which could break with pressure on it. So to open up the unit you need to push the tabs at the side and pull it open, and there's your compartment for the 2 AA batteries. They also put a foam pad in there to stop the batteries moving around, and it feels quite well made, the hinge on this, so you shouldn't have any issues with that. There's the batteries in the unit. You'll see the controls. On the left one is the channel, one for the auxiliary and mic, and on the right one channel again, so match them up, and the volume control. So very simple, just turn them on with the button at the top. The idea with the channels is you can change those if you need to, if you get interference, and you'll also be able to adjust the volume, which I'll get into in a second. So you have a choice of 6 channels, and there is a total of 16 volume settings. I recommend starting at the lower end, maybe like 4 or 5, and seeing how that sounds. Just showing you with the microphone plugged into the top, the direct mic. Bear in mind you only have one of these units, but you could use that for an interview. You'd probably need 2 unless you were sharing the microphone, but still it's nice that you get that included. And I'll just show you attaching the clip onto the back with the spring action there, so that fits in place quite securely. So I can understand why they've gone with the metal wire rather than the plastic, because that gives it a bit of flexibility in case you accidentally knock it as well. So just make sure that you screw that down once you put it onto the hot shoe. There's no direct connection with this, so a cold shoe as well, or if you wish you could put it onto a tripod. I'll just attach it now to the camera into the 3.5mm microphone port. You've got a bit of flexibility there on the cable, and then set your volume. So the important part now with this is to adjust it so that it doesn't have too much gain, and I'll show you some examples with different camera screens, but they basically all do the same thing. So you want to go into the manual settings if you have them available, and then pick a level and make sure that it's not peaking, i.e. it stays out of the red. So once you've done that and also adjust the position of the microphone, you should be able to play that back and get an idea of how it sounds. That's the user guide on screen for you. Now I'll do a quick test now. I'm going to do a range test now. Down the bottom there is about 80 meters according to Google Maps. So that will give me a pretty good indication of the range and how close it lives up to the spec. Now bear in mind that the weather conditions can play a part in this. Obviously it's at night, it's cloudy. I'd expect slightly better range in bright sunlight. Now a distance of around about 20 meters, so we'll see how that sounds. Now around about 40 meters distance from the camera. Audio test at 60 meters distance from the camera. You'll notice in the last clip at 60 meters it did start to get some interference on it. Your results may vary on this, but I'd say around 40 to 50 meters you should be pretty good. I thought the microphone quality was quite good. If you position the mic a bit closer you'll get a bit more depth to the sound. I would have liked to have seen perhaps a symbol or a bar scale on there just to give you an idea of your reception signal. That would be something which I think would improve it overall. But for the fairly modest price, I think it's quite a good little set and probably worth looking at if you need the wireless functionality.